I'm going to tell you how mobile money in Ghana almost never made it.
Kwesi, did you send Mama her cash for her medicine?
Yes, I did.
To tell you this story, let's take a step back to 2009. In 2009, the Ghanaian government was saying, mobile money is going to change Ghana as we know it. It's going to change the economy. It's going to do so much because other countries, whether it be Kenya, Tanzania, we're seeing their mobile money subscriptions skyrocket. So Ghana decided to run the experiment. Fast forward to 3 years later, in 2012, there were only 350,000 Ghanaians that were using mobile money. Now, to kind of put that into perspective, 350,000 sounds like a lot, but you also have to factor in that Ghana's population was roughly at the time 25 million. So that meant that only roughly 0.01% of the entire population was actually using mobile money.
You are sweating. Ghana is hard, isn't it?
Now, if you're the provider of these mobile money services, you're probably asking yourself, what the hell is going on? What the fuck? Mobile money was supposed to take off faster than fire in a wheat farm, but it didn't. Meanwhile, other countries, primarily in Kenya, in Tanzania, mobile money account ownership and use in those other countries were skyrocketing upwards. According to a Findex report in 2014, and mind you, Findex sounds like this complicated thing. It's really not. Findex is really a database that basically tracks all of these different things related to mobile money payments ecosystems across different countries. Because trust me, I, like you, were also confused by Findex. But anyways, according to that Findex report, only 13% of adults in Ghana owned a mobile money account compared to Kenya's 58% and Tanzania's 32%. A lot of people actually thought Ghana could never catch up. And according to the most recent Findex report that came out in 2021, roughly 60% of adults in Ghana have a mobile money account. A mind-blowing turnaround in success. The question then becomes, how exactly did Ghana come back? Because mind you, we had 0.01% of mobile money account ownership back in the day when mobile money was launched. The answer is pretty simple. Juju. Well, Ghana fixed a simple but really big problem. A problem that was almost hidden in plain sight. You see, the problem came from the Bank of Ghana's 2008 Branchless banking guidelines. What? Sounds like dry stuff, and it is. But let me tell you and emphasize just how important it was to look at those guidelines as really the enabler that allowed mobile money, as we know it in today's times, to thrive within Ghana. These guidelines were well-intentioned, but they had unintentionally created a really big blocker. A blocker that was preventing mobile money from spreading. What the guidelines said is that you needed a consortium of 3 licensed banks to be able to do e-money issuance and agent recruitment. So when you think of e-money issuance, that's really digital currency. And you needed a licensed consortium of at least 3 banks to be able to give out that digital currency. Now in Ghana, a lot of these mobile money services everywhere needed agents on the ground who would be at very specific spots to basically be able to take in cash, give out cash, and do a whole range of services. And what these guidelines were effectively saying, these branchless banking guidelines, is that you needed at least 3 banks to be in a partnership in order for you to issue digital currency or recruit agents. And on the surface, this, seems like a very well thought out policy. It was a great plan, but it also had unintentional consequences, problems. It actually brought up this really interesting concept in economics called the free rider problem. But I like to think about it in a different way. I like to think about the free rider problem as the who cleans the kitchen problem. Now imagine you, as the viewer, live in a house with 2 other people. Let's call them Abena and me. All 3 of you have to share a kitchen. A clean kitchen would be good for all of you. So everybody should be willing to clean the kitchen. With that in mind, you're a diligent person. You always make sure that you can clean the kitchen whenever you can, because you think Abena and me will also be cleaning the kitchen. But what you soon realize after doing it for 5 consecutive days is that Abena and Nee actually don't clean the kitchen. What they do is they know that you're gonna clean it and they know they're gonna benefit from you cleaning it. And as a result, you get pissed off because you start to think, why am I doing all of this work only for them to benefit and for me to not get anything? So you stop cleaning the kitchen. And because you stopped and Abena and Nee were never cleaning the kitchen becomes dirty. I want you to look at the kitchen and then turn the kitchen into EMoney Services, EMoney issuance, agent recruitment. And then you start to understand that the three people, Abena, Nee, and you, were actually the three banks in the consortium. And one of the banks putting in all the investment for all the other banks to benefit just didn't make sense. So as a result, no bank would invest. Now, it turns out this was a huge problem because the banks were discouraged from making investments that would benefit each other. Also, if you think about it, there was very little incentive for a lot of these telecommunications firms because at the end of the day, these services didn't have control over their agents because the consortium would own the agents instead of these services. Additionally, these services couldn't even issue money. That was also a big blocker that needed to be changed. And change would come. So it took a group of people to kind of look at those 2008 guidelines and basically say, hey, something's up here, something's not right.
I said, hold up, wait a minute, something ain't right.
After a lot of deliberation, in 2013, the Bank of Ghana started drafting new regulations. On the 6th of July in 2015, new e-money and agent guidelines were actually issued. It worked. And get this, they allowed non-banks to own and run e-money businesses under the Bank of Ghana supervision. Think about it like the bat signal calling out Batman, because the different telecommunication services jumped on that regulation. In less than a year, MTN had begun aggressively recruiting and investing in building up their agent base, as well as investing in consumer education. This gave MTN a head start that allowed them to get almost 75% of Ghana's active mobile money accounts, which is wild to think about. But you have to also factor in that MTN got in early and they were off to the races. By 2017, Ghana had over 11 million active mobile money accounts. The mobile money experiment had succeeded. Changing the regulations and looking specifically at those 2008 branchless banking guidelines was one of the direct causes for making mobile money a success in Ghana, instead of another failed government project. Thanks for watching this video. It was fun to talk about. I hope it was also fun to watch. My name is Adum. I'll be making a lot more, I'd say, content. I think this is what this is, content, huh? Yeah, I'll be making a lot more content around startups, entrepreneurship, IT policy in Ghana, because that's where I'm from and that's kind of what I'm interested in at this point in time. And again, just to preface this, we're learning together. If there are any mistakes that you see or if you want to, talk about things a bit more, just jump down in the comments. I read each and every one. I'm being told by my editor that I should find a better way of signing out. I'm kidding. But yeah, peace.